All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Just need to do a quick audio check. All right, there we go. It's there. Let's go. So today we're going to be talking about the trades that I took on my funded account. For those of you who keep up with me on any platforms, I've been posting on my community posts, trying to keep you guys up to date with everything that's going on with my journey. And yeah, we're just going to be looking at the market today, going over those trades that I pretty much took today. All right. So today I pretty much made $375 on my E8 150K account, and then I made about, I believe it was about 1980 or something like that, 1975 on my 200K funded Alpha Capital account. And I'm going to be going over the trade that I pretty much took today that netted me those profits in my funded account, you guys. And you guys can go check those trades out. I posted my trades on my community tab. I posted on my X account. I posted on my Facebook account. So if you guys want to go check those trades out, you guys can go check those trades out right there to verify those trades right there, right? So, MN, where is it at? Where's my thingy at? Bam, right here. Right. We're looking at MNQH 2026. Now, one thing I try to do every day when I'm trading, like I said, keyword is try, because I don't always manage to do this. A lot of the times I end up coming up short, doing something stupid, losing money, right? But one thing I try to do is wait for that hourly candle to close, right? So the hourly candle that I'm referring to is the 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. candle, right? It closes at 10 a.m. Right? So today it didn't really work out the way it normally does. So I had to like combine some other things that I learned from ICT, right? I had to combine some other price action strategies, but we're going to get into all of that in this video right now, you guys. I want to try to keep this video short and sweet, so if you guys can, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. Right, so as you guys can see, we broke down past this low on the 1 hour chart. Right, so based on the 1 hour candle close, you would think that's going to tell us that the market is going to continue to go down, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a yellow line on this swing low right here, right? Because you guys can now see that when the market broke back above this candle right here, right? Once this 10 a.m. candle right here, once it started to go up that much, we kind of know it's going to break above. So then we can start looking for buys, right? And then another thing that I was looking at was this order block, right? This order block right here on a 1 hour time frame. So I'm going to put a horizontal line at the bottom of this order block, right? Right, and then you guys can see, if we zoom in, right, because you have to really zoom in to see, right? So I'll put a horizontal line right at the bottom of there, and you guys can see that we came very close to taking out this 1 hour order block, but you guys can see that the price did not take that 1 hour little wick right there, right? You can see there's still some space in there. So the reason why I'm pointing all of this out is because that is what told me that the market was done going down for the day, right? And we can see that a little bit clearer, a little bit, better on the 1 minute time frame. But like I said, we have to zoom in, because if you don't zoom in, it looks like it took that level out. But when you zoom in, you actually realize that it never got to that level, right? So on the 1 minute time frame, right, once we get all of this consolidation right here, now we can start looking for a buy, right? So this is essentially what I did looking for a buy, right? I tell you guys all the time the ICT PD arrays that I use. I use the first presented fair value gap. I use the new week opening gap. I use the new day opening gap. And I use the opening range gap, right? I pretty much use a lot of different things. But for today, we use the first presented fair value gap. Now, the first presented fair value gap, for those of you who do not know, it's the first gap that is made after 9/31, right? It's the first gap that is made after 9/31, right? So that is this gap right here that we boxed up. We put a sky blue line on this candle right here, right? And this candle was made at 9:35, so you guys can go back in your chart if you need to, and then you guys can mark this candle out as well, right? So at this point, I know that the market is respecting this yellow line that I have on my chart. So I know that my stop loss is going to be down here, right? And then once you wait for that first presented fair value gap to be created, then you're just waiting for a pullback, right? So I'm not going to lie, my first couple entries were really bad. They were like all the way up here, like this. And, you know, I got faked out a couple times. Not a couple times. I got faked out one time. And I would have never even took the loss if I didn't move my stop loss up. And you guys can see all of these trades on my community tab. I did post my trades on there. But I had, when the market went up right here, I moved my stop loss right below this low, and then the market came down and stopped me out, and then it went right back up. So after I got stopped out, I literally just bought right back in, right? Pretty much just took the same trade again. Right, so that was one way to enter that trade. And then the other way to enter, and this is where I made most of my profits at, was right here on this pullback right here. You see we went right to the midpoint of this first presented fair value gap. So I pretty much, at this point, I updated my trade, and I'm just like, I'm going to use the most previous low because we just swept liquidity on the 1 minute time frame. So we should not be going back below this low right here. So now I moved my stop loss here. And then I literally had like a wick entry on this trade. So my entry was like right there. And I pretty much got out right at the top of this swing high right here. I wanted more, but, you know, I just had to get out. It's Friday, first day of being funded. Just wanted to protect my profits, right? But essentially what I was targeting was, there was an order block. I believe it's either on a 5 minute or the 15 minute. Right, it's probably on a 15-minute time frame. So essentially I was targeting this order block right here. We can box this up, make it sky blue as well. So this was essentially my target. All right, and it, as you guys can see, it did get to that target. All right, so this trade right here, this trade alone was almost, well, not even almost. This trade was pretty much a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So I didn't really have to risk that much on this trade. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't get my full take profit. But I was pretty satisfied with the way everything played out. Now, I'm not showing you guys this just to, you know, brag and say, oh, look, I made some money on my first day being funded and all of that stuff. I'm trying to show you guys the process, right? Because when it comes to trading, you have to have a process. You have to have a system that you follow every day. And if you have a system, but you don't follow it, then it's almost like it's no point of even having a system. Right? So my system is simply this, right? I wait for that 1 hour candle to close. So I go to the hourly time frame. And by the way, you guys, I have no shame of telling you guys where I got this from. I got this from JCap. Whenever a guy have a $2.4 million payout with a company like Apex, which is very hard to do. Most people can't even get a payout with Apex, yet alone $2.4 million, right? So whenever a guy have that much success, you want to go and pay attention to that guy. Don't have too much pride. And there's a lot of guys on the internet, they're not teaching trading for real, man. I'm just going to be honest. They're showing you Rolexes and Lambos and all of this stuff. But one thing you'll never see on their on their channel is a chart. One thing you will never see on their channel is a chart, right? So that's why I'm so passionate about this, is because like I really do want to help as many people as I can. So long story short, I go to the 1 hour time frame every day. First thing I do is mark out all of the lows that's on the 1 hour time frame. Right, so we can move this low off, this yellow line. So, right, I mark out all of the lows and the highs, by the way. Let me say that. So there's a high, there's a low right here. There's a swing high up there. And then there was a swing low right here. So as the market opened, we broke through this swing low. So we know we're going down for that first hour, right? From 9 to 10, we know that the market is going down, right? We swept this low, still going down. Now, because it's Friday, we don't want to just try to, use this order block right here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You guys can go look at the trades. They're on my community tab. I did use this low, and I took a buy as the market was going down, because that's a bad habit that I have from when I first started learning ICT concepts. It's a bad habit that I have from every time I see an order block, I'm just trusting it without waiting for the market to tell me that I should be trusting it before I even, see that it's working. So I'm being transparent about this because, it is what it is. All right, and then if we go to the 4 hour time frame, you guys can also see that there's an order block on the 4 hour time frame as well. Right, these 3 red candles make up one order block. So if you wanted to trust it a little bit earlier, which I still don't recommend doing. I thought about doing it though, but you have to have a bigger stop loss. You have to use this as a stop loss. Then when it come down, maybe you could take an early position in there, but there's really no point of doing that when all you have to do is wait for that 1 hour candle to close and then drop down into lower time frames and wait for confirmation. That's all you have to do. So that goes back to what I was saying when I marked out that 1 hour order block, right? This yellow line. It looks like the price hit that level, but it never did. Right? Like I said, if we zoom in, it looks like the price hit this level, but it never hit that level, right? So what is that telling me? That's if the market is going to continue to go down, it's going to break through that level, right? There's nothing that's going to hold the market back from breaking through that level. So all I'm doing after that is waiting for what? First presented fair value gap. This big red candle right here. This is the first presented fair value gap that we have marked out in this blue zone. So now the market gives us first presented fair value gap. Right? Comes down here, freaks some people out. That's why I said you have to wait to make sure that this level is going to hold. It holds once again. It took out some short liquidity, right? It took out some liquidity on the 1 minute time frame. Quickly rejects away. So now that if all of this don't tell you that price is likely going to start going up, I don't know what else is going to tell you. Right, that's why I did have a couple early entries up here at the top. I'm not going to lie and act like all of my entries was at the bottom. My entries, when the price was right here, I took these entries because I was expecting it to just keep going the same way it did right here. I was expecting it to do it right here. Price dipped down below. I could have added, but I didn't want to add because, I want to have good risk management. So I just waited for confirmation because I don't know if it's going to fake me out and keep going lower. So why add? but then it stopped, went up higher again. At this point, I was up about $1,000 on my account. Didn't take it. I have trailed my stop losses up a little bit higher. The market came down, took out my stops. And you can go see all of this on my community tab. My trades are all there, right? I didn't move my stop losses on my E8 Markets account, so I never got stopped out on that account. But I did get stopped out on this account, right? But like I said, once I got stopped, and then this big green candle instantly starts to reject, I just got right back in the trade. So I lost about $900 when I got stopped out. As soon as I got right back in, I made like $750 right back because the market went right back up. You guys can see we're on a 1 minute time frame. So in 4 minutes, right, this was what, almost 100 points in 4 minutes, right? So then I didn't freak myself out. I waited for a pullback. I did take an early entry because I didn't know if the market was going to do a full pullback or not. So I took one early entry about right in here, and then I took my last entry right at the bottom. And then literally the market gave me the same thing. It took about 5 minutes for me to be up, another 100 points. So just understand what I'm trying to tell you, right? It's all about narrative. The reason why I tell people to use the first presented fair value gap in the first place is because it forces you to be patient. A lot of people, as soon as the market opened at 9:30, the first thing they're doing is pushing the button. As soon as possible, they got to be pushing the button. But when you wait for that first presented fair value gap, it forces you to say, okay, I'm going to wait for at least for this gap to be formed before I try to do something. Right? If you're waiting for that 1 hour candle to close, now you have to wait even more, right? And this is where a lot of us is going to fail, because JCap gave you guys a strategy, but a lot of you are going to fail to execute it because you don't have that patience. Even me, I failed because I don't be having the patience sometimes. It's the truth. I literally have blown more accounts than I've cared to admit this year. But when I locked in and I did what I had to do, I was able to get funded, not with just one account, but I was able to get funded with 2 accounts within 1 week. It only took me 1 week to get funded with 2 accounts because I locked in and I followed the rules and I followed the system. I was funded before, made some mistakes, blew my account. It hurt. It wasn't easy to just blow my account and just, but at the end of the day, it's either I'm going to cry about it forever or I'm going to pick myself back up and say, hey, where did you go wrong, bro? You know what you did wrong? You have to do better. You can't let one loss define you as a trader. You can't let one blown account define you as a trader, because trading is already tough enough. So, you have to get to a point where you have to create a system, and then you have to follow that system. No matter what, you have to follow that system. And you're not going to get it right all the time. But you have to get more things right than not, right? Meaning that, like, if you don't follow your system that day, your risk to reward better be good. Right? If you have to do more things right than wrong when it comes to trading if you want to have success. I'm not even as successful as some of these other guys. Some of these other guys, they have already received 6-figure payouts, 7-figure payouts. I've only received a 5-figure payout last year. And after I did my taxes and everything, I realized I was only break even for the year. Right? I was only break even for the year. So there's still so much room even for me to learn. And I'm 7 years into doing this. But anybody who really want to learn how to do this stuff, this is the channel for you. I know I don't always have the best quality videos. I know I don't always have the best commentary. I know I'm not consistent with my lives as much as I want to be. But if you guys really want to learn how to trade better, this is going to be one of the best channels on YouTube for trading. There's a lot of good people that's doing it. But, you know, they're not going to be breaking down their strategy every day in and day out. You got people like, you know, Patrick Whelan, he's trading in front of you live, which is great. But, you know, he's not always giving you the logic. He's not always giving you the narrative and why he's doing what he's doing. Shout out to D Money. D Money be helping everybody out, in my opinion. He went over there and uplifted the entire podcast. But I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but this is going to be one of the best channels. If you really want to learn how to trade, this is going to be one of the best channels. Not because I'm the best trader, but because I'm just where you guys was at. Some of these guys have been profitable for 5-6 years already. They can't relate to you as much as I can relate to you. I know how it feels to blow those accounts. I know how it feels to pass phase 2 and not get a payout. I know how all of that feels. That's why I'm really trying to create a community where we can come over here. You guys can come over here, talk to me, tell me about your strategy, ask me questions. I'm here for it. I'm transparent about everything that I do. If I learn something from JCap, I'm gonna tell you if it's from JCap. If I learn something from ICT, I'm gonna tell you it's from ICT. There's no secrets over here. I just really be wanting to see people win because I struggled for years, man. Like, I was a part of IML Academy. They scammed me, right? I've spent so much money on mentorships just to find out that the guy that I need to be learning from is teaching this stuff for free. Can you guys imagine how that feels when you spend thousands on mentorships and then you found out the best guy that with the best information has a mentorship on YouTube for free? Then I went to go study his mentorship, and I'm talking about ICT, by the way, the Inner Circle Trader, for those of you who don't know. Then I went on ICT channel and I studied like crazy. I studied like crazy for 2 years before I even really started seeing consistency. And it was because it was a lot of information to digest, and then I had to go out there in the market and test it out. I had to back test and do everything else. That's why on my channel, I get straight to the point in every video, because that was something that I wish ICT would have done. ICT do a lot of, you know, and this is not a knock to ICT. I like ICT, man. He's a great guy. But, you know, he does a lot of, like, talking about, and it's not about trading. It's not about the strategy. How many more times do we got to hear about Wakeoff invented something or somebody else invented this, and we just trying to learn the strategy? That's what inspired me to start my channel. Because I say, you know what? Every video, it may be boring. It might not have the best quality. But every video, I'm going to be giving these people what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And hopefully they can learn something. Like I can back test this whole week, honestly, if you guys want me to, but I don't have the time for that because I had to turn my AC off in my truck just to make this video. And right now I'm in Florida. It's hot in Florida right now. So I don't really plan on doing this video, making this video too long. But I just wanted to come on here and kick it with y'all and show y'all how I was able to make almost $2,500 my first day being back funded with E8 Markets and Alpha Capital. right? And I plan on going much further than that. I want to have way more consistency than that. Right? I want to get so many more accounts. But right now I have to just focus on getting consistent payouts, because that's the stage where I'm at right now. Get consistent payouts, and then when I get consistent payouts, I'll get those other accounts. It's nothing for me to worry about. And all of you guys who have been supporting me using my creator code trucking, clicking on my link, signing up, I love you guys, for real. From the bottom of my heart. I really do love y'all. Because sometimes making trading content, it don't be easy. Sometimes you wonder like, are you even giving anybody any value? But and then when you guys use my code, at least you guys let me know like y'all rocking with me. And that means a lot to me, man, for real. Cause sometimes I be struggling when it comes to trading. Sometimes, like, when I'm struggling too, sometimes I be ready to give up. So, when I see that one person watching my live, when I see that one person dropping a comment using my code, it means a lot, man. For real. It really do. It means a lot. So, it's been a long week, you guys. I'm not going to be on here long. I'm actually about to end it right now. I just wanted to come in, show you guys the trade that I took today, so that, maybe if you did trade today and it didn't go well, hopefully you can watch this video and learn something from this video, right? Hopefully you go in your charts and you see something that maybe you could have done a little bit better, right? That's my hope for you guys. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell so whenever I go live, you will be notified and you can come on here and you can chop it up with me. Because we about to start getting these payouts, right? And the success is about to go up. All right? So I will see y'all in the next video. I hope everybody have a great weekend. Until the next time, my friends.